All right, we've got a questions for the troll hat on. This is a fun video, a serious video, and an interesting video. This is the only video like this on YouTube that I'm aware of. If you know one, link me down below. How do I deal with stalkers? This question comes up a lot, and I have two very what's obsessed, passionate, pernicious, frustrating, angry. What would you call them? I don't know. You call them stalkers, definitely. So if you Google my name up, just type in durianrider or Harley Johnstone into Google search. All right, just type it in there, have a read, and then you'll quickly see how many videos these two people have uploaded about me. One of them's made over 130 videos on YouTube, plus he's made a 5-part documentary series. It would take thousands of hours. Yeah, and so that's one of them, and he's Norway. And then the other one, he's not so good on the videos and like talking on camera. He's more of a really good writer. He's like, he does like theses about durianrider. Like his blogs would take 40 to 60 hours to research, edit, cross-reference, twist it, slander it, boom, 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 take it out of context, lie, stuff like that. And he early this year got a conviction, but he doesn't care. That's not going to stop him. He keeps going. And I've contacted the police. They're like, what can we do? It's online. Just block him. So I can't sue him because he doesn't have a job. He makes his income on his blogs. From what we can see is that he makes his income. End of each blog, there's like a cryptocurrency donate button. He's like, donate. So so he's e-begging, panhandling off my name on the internet, which I don't care too much. I feel sorry for these people. I don't have hate for them. I did have a bit at the start. I was a bit like angry and frustrated and flustered, but that's just my ego getting the better of me, and I'd be writing back or whatever. I'd be like, just getting in the game. What I've learned though, this is esoteric, this is more spiritual, part of the video. This is, because we all deal with, if you're online, Facebook or Twitter or Reddit or whatever, you're going to have haters at some level. You might just get someone who's like, let's say your name's Giraffe67 or whatever, and someone's like, Hornbag89 doesn't like your comment, and there's that level of trolling. And then there's the stalking, where people will like contact your family members, or they'll look you up, or they'll create fake aliases using your face on YouTube, or make video after video after video about you, under fake accounts or whatever, or it's in that. So there's different levels of it. They make the 5-part documentary, or make their website most of the articles about you, or the longest ones, or the most passionate ones about you. It's like, so that's the level there. But are they really a hater? I was talking to a psychologist friend of mine, and he's like, these people aren't haters. You got to understand that they're actually lovers, because to hate someone like full on, you have to love someone as well, and there has to be at some point where you disappointed them so much that all that massive love they had for you, man crush, girl crush, whatever, it's flipped over to this big ball of hate. So the love just like over here, and same, you can have a lot of hate for someone, then that can become a lot of love as well. Look at Jesus. Right? So you can call me the Jesus of the vegan community on YouTube. Some people have called me that because I've created so many accounts. I've given life to so many YouTubers out there. I've definitely built a lot of careers over the years. Some people making really, really good money, or have made, blah, blah, blah. But, so yeah, I understand that. It comes with the territory. People say, what did you do to these guys? And I'm like, I don't really know too much. I get one of them, the writer guy, I challenged him to a race up a local climb here, because he was making fun of vegans. And I just, me being me doing it, I was like, well, come and race me up Corkscrew Road. So he's like, did a whole blog about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I touched the nerve there. Not meant to, sorry, bro. And the other guy gave his girlfriend her first orgasm via penetration. Not my words, her words on that night. And so then he found out about that, and then the documentary series, Durianrider, came on there. So, and I don't have any hate for these people. I wish them all the best. They're obviously not doing too well. I've obviously hurt them at some point, and I want to say sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't, no intention to hurt anyone out there. So, but yeah, I don't know, it's very interesting. It definitely has taken up some time of mine over the years, just thinking about it, laying there or bike riding, say, why are these two people so obsessed, And they create fake accounts, they create fake websites about me. Just type it in, have a look, spend. I mean, it's been a waste of your time, but if you got 30 minutes to spend, you could probably spend 20 hours reading all the content. But it just gives you an insight into how the internet works these days, in that anybody can make anything up, any story up, and there's nothing you can do about it. They can put it on all these websites, it won't get taken down ever. It won't get taken down ever. YouTube can delete it, they'll put it back up again, or put it on other platforms. So people think, you can just write to Google, and then, no. I mean, maybe you can do that, but then it just gets put up, boom, like that. If someone wants to trash you, slander you on the internet, there's nothing you can do about it. Because even to prove that, I mean, to take someone to a civil case, like, that's, a lot of money. Assuming they have money. If they don't have money, just like, what's the point? You're just going to waste a lot of money, and then they can just create again. So it's a lot of like, if someone wants to trash you, if they hate you that much, there's nothing you can do about it. People say, why don't you hate these guys? I don't hate them. I'm just like, I couldn't be bothered making, I might make a response video back in the day, but now I'm just like this video, but it's like, this is more a video to help people out there who might be suffering with stalkers or haters. You will never, ever in your life get stalkers that I've had, that level of obsession. I feel flattered, because these people, I'm like, I read some of their stuff, and I'm like, man, these people write some good shit, or they make a good edit. They've watched all my videos, all of them. They've read everything I've done on it. I'll go to a website like Cycling Tips, then boom, they'll be on that. I'll go to Cycling News, then boom, they'll be on that. They're like following me all the time. And you can tell, because it's the same writing style, it's like passion, aggression. You just don't get from the everyday troll or hater. So I just want to let people know that it's okay if you're getting trolled. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's like, how can I say? It's like, it's life, I should say. So I shouldn't say it's okay. I should say it's life. That there's people out there who are going to be obsessed about you. Maybe they're having some mental health challenges, and maybe they just need a hug. I think these people definitely need a hug. I don't think they're getting enough hugs. I'll give them a hug if they want. But yeah, maybe $5. But no, seriously, these people are not getting. This is where you got to have compassion and empathy. These people are not well. They're not getting the love that they want. So that creates sadism and narcissistic traits and sociopathy, and so there is. I remember I had a friend called Fraser Kirkman, and he was like this hippie dude I knew back in 2004, and he was like the guy who could just walk up and hug anyone, and I'll be out in town with him, and I'll be like, dude, I'm like, this dude's gonna get punched out, man. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna get punched out. Like, I don't want to get involved. I'm a Muay Thai fighter, but like, I don't want to get. Like, what are you doing, man? And he'd walk up, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna get king here. And he'd walk up and just hugs this dude, And the guy would hug him, and I was like, what? That was just like a biker dude, and like, he was just gonna snap your neck, and he just giving him a hug, and I'm just like, what? And so Fraser just like gave me a whole insight into like different things, and but yeah, what I've learned as well, you can be an incredible fighter, but like you saw in January, I got attacked from behind and knocked out, and there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so it's like, you can do all these things with prevention, and people say, you should move to the USA, carry a gun. You can carry arms, but someone can just shoot from behind. Like, if someone wants to take you out, they take you out. Okay, so it's like, that's the reality, fortunately. So I think we live in a world where people aren't getting enough love. People take things way too personally. The ego's out of control, and the ego will crush you. The ego will crush you. Same with me, even me. I've had to drop my ego a lot, because it's like, if you don't, your ego will destroy you. Your ego, what does ego mean? It means self-importance. So if someone says something to you, like, go to a club and you bump someone accidentally and you knock their drink, and they're like, oh, and then people have actually gone to prison for fighting and like killing people, just one hit punch from behind, knocking them out and dying. They get a 10-year, 20-year life prison sentence just because their ego couldn't handle getting knocked in a pub. Like, it's crazy. So that's the ego, the self-importance. It's good to have a minimal ego. You need a minimum ego just so you wake up and brush your teeth in the morning, But if it's too much, if your ego's too big and someone says something to you, you're gonna flare up. So, and I've been there myself, right? Not to the level of my two fanboys out there, but yeah, it's probably not the best video to make. But yeah, seriously, I've got no hate for people out there, and people are like, hey, what? How can you not? If someone did that to me, I'll be on a warpath. I'm like, what does that do? What does that do? You know, what is that gonna do? Being angry your whole life. How's it gonna age your face? How's it gonna make you vibe to be around? What's your girlfriend or your wife or your husband, or how are your kids gonna feel? How's your parents gonna feel, or the people around you? How they're gonna feel if every day you're just looking on the internet just to like to hate on people and you're raging or whatever, you know, because your upbringing you didn't like, or someone, your mum or your dad or your teacher or someone did something to you back when you were a kid or whatever, and you just carry that on, that anger and resentment, and you carry that on everywhere you go. And if someone offends you or rejects you or whatever, you just like all that from the past, you just leash onto that one person. And it's way out of context. It's way out of context, you know. So there has to come a point where you have a spiritual awakening, not in a bullshit woo-woo sense, but in the sense where you're like, what am I actually fighting for? You know, we can reflect to like gang warfare in the hood, in the Bloods and the Crips, etc., or whatever. In Guatemala, you know, like you see people like they, you know, now with social media, someone will set something on Instagram, they send a car around there and just, you know, shoot the house up, and I'm just like, what? So it's just that comes into place of insecurity when these people have been abused beforehand, and then they carry those battle scars on emotionally, and then that's their everyday life, and then they just think everything's a fight, everything's a battle. And it's like, man, it's just sometimes it's just words, sometimes it's just banter, you know. Sometimes it's just your girlfriend, you know, jumping on the bed with you, like it's no big deal, you know. Don't take it personally. Women have needs, all right. Women have needs, all right. So, but yeah, that's the deal there. Google my name, have a read, share it with people, share it around. Maybe someone said, "Oh, you follow durianrider? Look at this website," and it's like, yeah, that's one of durianrider's two stalkers there, you know. And in hindsight, it's like it does show me, you know, the positives from this outcome. Is always positive in life, all right. No matter how thinly you slice the truth, there's always two sides. There's a good side and there's like the not so good side. The good side is it's taught me a lot about human behavior, human psychology, how the internet works, how fame works, how people can, you know, gullible, naive people can just believe anything they read on the internet. So it's taught me that. It's taught me better communication skills. It's taught me not to take things personally. It's taught to temper my own ego, which has been very, very hard being a Leo and a carved up Leo with a lot of energy. So that's definitely a factor there. So it's taught me so much, so much. I could go on, prattle on for hours on that one. On the not so good side, it's sort of what's it done? I really feel for the noobs out there, for the people who wanted to believe in me or my message or whatever. You know, I even had one guy buy a bike off me from Switzerland. He bought a bike and he's like, oh, you know, I looked up look up pragma glycogen. My stalker's done an article about that as well. So, and full of lies. But yeah, so he's guys, will I get my bike, Harley? And I'm like, what? And he's like, will I get my bike? And I'm like, yeah, you get your bike. And he's like, I just read something on the internet, I wasn't too sure. And I'm like, that's my stalker guy. You know, that's the guy who got the conviction in back in the day, early in the year. He's like, and I'm like, bro, you'll get your bike. Anyway, his bike turns up. He's like, oh, you're right. And I'm like, bro, I'm not here to fucking rip people off. And so he got his bike and he's stoked with it. And then he put the bottom bracket in the wrong way. You know, he threaded it a bit. I said, like, bro, stop. So I Googled up these bike shops in Switzerland, his frame builders. I said, contact them and see if they can rethread your bottom bracket because you've done it the wrong way and he's done it too tight and threaded the thread. And so he did that. And he's like, oh, thanks for your service, Harley, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know, but so you got guys like that who, you know, will believe there's anything that's sort of well written and, you know, and you got me over here being a pretty illiterate, you know, I'll probably look like a dodgy dude. So people like that will be like, oh, you know, so that's what doesn't sort of hurt me, but it hurts them definitely. It hurts people. I feel sorry that people might believe certain things, you know, and people miss out. I mean, look at how many people have. There's a guy in Chiang Mai, I remember one time, he was like, he flew from America, he flew from Arizona, brought his bike over. He was super stoked to like meet the crew, meet me, he's in Chiang Mai. And then he's like, one day we went a ride and his vibe was just dead. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong? I'm like, don't tell me you watched that video about me on YouTube did something, did you? And he goes, yeah, I did. I don't know, Harley. I don't know. And he's looking at me all weird. I'm like, are you serious, bro? You flew all the way from Arizona to Chiang Mai and you're going to like believe some random dude from Norway. you know, and he's like, "Oh, it's really convincing." And I'm like, "Fucking serious, bro? What?" Anyway, I was like, "Dude, you're adult. You decide, man." Anyway, he left Chiang Mai in a few days, but just the look on his face, the disappointment, and I'm just like, man, like far out. So that really stuck with me as well, and I felt sorry for him because this is the young guy from Arizona into cycling to vegan stuff, and he's just come over to Chiang Mai to feel the vibe, get some durianrider direction, etc., which a lot of people have, which is what I do for people, give people direction, because I've craved that in my life a lot, and when people gave me direction, it felt really good. So I want to pay it forward. And so this young guy is like, just the loss of direction he had. He came to Chiang Mai. He walked up, shook my hand. He's like looking at me in the eyes, just like, had this stance, and he's like, I'm here, I've landed, I'm on the path to enlightenment, Chiang Mai Sugar Mountain style, up the doi. And he had this, swagger, and that feels really good. And then I can feel when someone's swagger's going down, because they're like, oh, they don't believe in the Messiah Durian anymore. Because I have charisma, I can talk, spin up to win it. And so it gets people hyped up. And then if they don't believe, then that just like, so if you're getting hyped from me, if you're getting hyped up to do things for me, that's fantastic. But if you're gonna let that hype be deflated because of some, person on the internet who talks a lot about me to get clout and attention and cryptocurrencies, then that's on you as well. So there's a lot of lessons for everybody here. There's lessons for me as the educator, as the loudmouth on YouTube, as the target of stalking. There's lessons for the fans out there who, are more convicted that I am, who I am. And there's also for the fans out there who are no longer fans, who are convicted that I am, whatever people say about me on the internet, And then there's the stalkers who spend their whole days pretty much just looking for more and more content to talk about with me or whatever. And that's them as well. That's their choice. Everyone's got choice in life. You can spend all day whatever in for durianrider or your family or whatever. I don't know. It's the easy one. But anyway, to wrap it up, if anyone feels offended by me or whatever, that's not the goal of me ever. Maybe I do get frustrated sometimes and I throw back, but it wasn't never my initial intention. So apologies to people out there who did get offended. What else can I say? That's it. I'll go on live debate with anyone. I'll give anyone an apology in public if they feel they deserve it. If they give me some reason, I'm like, oh, you're right. I'm sorry, I was wrong. How can I make it better? I think being able to live like that, be able to apologize publicly, own it. Everyone makes mistakes. Then that's how we make the world a better place. But the problem is people can't own their stuff, can't own their shit. And that's, because why can't people own their shit? Oh, because they're like, yeah, whatever. But let's go deep. We can't own our shit. I couldn't own my shit when I was 14 or to my mum or whatever, because I was insecure. That's what it comes down to. Narcissism is built on a foundation of massive insecurity, where you don't want to get rejected ever again because you got rejected by your mum or your dad or your uncle or your auntie or your school teacher or someone you looked up to rejected you. And so that felt so bad, all right? That felt really, really bad. And that's happened to everybody, me, you, everyone. Or it soon will. And so you have that level of rejection. And so then you're like, I'm going to be good at sport. I'm going to be good at aesthetics. I'm going to build muscle and do steroids. I'm going to be strong. I'll be mean and tough and get tattoos and a beard and shave my head or get my hair really big. Whatever. You just put up this armor of approval because you don't want that rejection ever again because it felt so bad. And so that's where narcissism's built on. So if you offend a narcissist, then hell have no theory, So don't take it personally if you're a target of a narcissist or whatever. Some people call them sociopaths or psychopaths. Yeah, but that's a label, but that doesn't really help anyone. Calling someone a narcissistic sociopath, psychopath doesn't really help someone to make them feel good about themselves. These people need to feel good about themselves. That's what's going to help them, giving them love. Tough love. And so that's the deal there. So yeah, it's made me a better man. Durianrider 4.3. I was 43 a few days ago, so it's made me more mature. All these things happen for a reason, to make you a better teacher, a better human. That's life in general. Things are going to happen to you, man. Things are going to happen to you, and it's going to be very challenging sometimes to feel the good things about that. You're going to be like, life sucks, people are shit, blah, 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 blah. My parents suck, my ex sucks, blah, 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 blah. But you really got to have that deep level of forgiveness where you understand that these people are hurting. And it's not really about you. It's about them and how you made them feel. Okay, it's not really about you. You were just a person in their life. You said something, or you did something, or whatever, and they just took it way out of context and got way, way, way too offended. You know, because they were madly insecure. Because they're insecure because they're like, I don't want to feel any pain because that's what happened to me when I was a kid. Yeah. So I understand these people we're all just kids really, in adult skins with adult responsibilities. So a lot of us haven't really grown up or matured. That's not a put down. That's just is what it is. It's like muscles. Not many people can bench press their own body weight or bench press even 20 kilos. They haven't built up that muscle, or run a 5K at any speed. Most people can't do that. And that's through physical muscle. You've got your emotional muscle where people can't deal with what happened when they were a kid. They just ball it up, cover it with drugs, alcohol, SSRI meds, heaps of fatty food, like crazy behaviors, drugs, weed, everything, just drugs to change your state, in a bad way. And just because I don't want to deal with what happened versus go, hey, my dad or my mom or whoever did whatever to me when I was a kid, they had their own issues. So it wasn't about me. They were just damaged as well. And they brought their damage over to me as a kid. So you have to have forgiveness. Otherwise, you will live with resentment for the rest of your life. Yeah. And then that just carries on and on and on and on. All right? There's no one out there is doing violent crimes or stalking people because they're getting a lot of love each day. All right? No one. These people are feeling hurt. Hurt people. And the best thing you can do for a hurt person is not to hurt them. Even though that can be really tempting because you're like, I want to give you the pain you're giving me. But that's just, what does that do? I mean, we see that happening on the war zones. So it's I don't know. I don't think, I could be wrong. Durianrider could be wrong. That's going to get someone triggered right there, isn't it? I could be wrong, but I think we don't need more war in the world. I could be wrong, but I think we have enough violence. I think we've got enough violence in the world. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. So yeah, so it becomes a real, and as a fighter as well, as someone who's trained martial arts for 2 decades or longer than 2 decades since '91. Almost 3 decades, the better I become as a fighter and athlete, the less I want to fight. The less I want to fight because I understand, the damage you can do in a fight, yourself or other people, and damage can be done to you or others. So I understand that, and I understand there's families and stuff like that. If you want to fight in the ring. If someone wants to fight me, let's go in the ring. Let's go in the ring and go at it. At least it's safe and we can vent our frustrations and let's do it. Are we down for that? But street fighting, all this stuff, taking people behind, that's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Even the fighting in the ring, I think that's fantastic. Highly recommend that if that's your thing. But then again, wear safety gear. Do it smart. And you can let out your frustration. Let out frustration. So if someone wants to fight me in the ring, let's do it. Let's do it. I do definitely think there's definitely a place for fighting, especially there's a place. And so you got fighting in the ring can be different. That can be sport and a bit of release. Especially if you're using safety equipment if you want. Which is ideal anyway. It's ideal, and that way you can just have it out. Let a bit of steam. But even in the UFC, I laugh because you got guys like Conor McGregor and what's his name, Habib, and they have fights, but it's like their tension gets even more and more. So those guys aren't learning the lesson. Their egos are way out of control. They're taking things way personal, even though they're really good fighters professionally. As people, they're just not learning the lesson. Still got grudges against each other. It's like, guys, you're making millions of dollars fighting each other. Like, when are you just going to just chill? When are you just going to chill? So it's a funny world out there. But there's lessons to be learned. Hopefully that's insightful for you. If you want more information, check out the Durianrider podcast. We talk on there. I've got another channel, Ask Durianrider, and I've got another channel called Durianrider Cycling Tips. If you want more information, visit durianrider.com. And, I talk about this stuff in my ebook, Cover the Fuck Up. I'm also going to be doing some updates coming soon in my ebook. So talk a bit more about this stuff because this is real world. The police can't help you because the laws are, hard to prosecute on. It's hard to prove that someone behind a computer. There could be other people in the house, right, and stuff. So it's like, has to be, so unless, it's very, very hard to prove internet stuff. Very, very hard to prove. So I'm just going to let people know that you don't rely on the police to help you, not because the police don't do a good job, but just because their hands are tied, with evidence and stuff like that. So if we always rely on the police, as much as they do a great job in a lot of aspects, and police are just people as well. You got your good cops and you got your not so good cops. They're just people as well. And if a cop's got a grudge against you, then that's going to be unfortunate. So there is, it's about protecting yourself mentally, because you can get someone to prosecute you. You can maybe get a payout, but if you have that mental persecution going on in your head, you still lose. All right, you still lose. Person might be in prison for 20 years, and you're like, yeah, you're in prison for 20 years, suck, yeah. But how does that really help you? Because you're still living with that resentment towards them, So you sort of see this as an esoteric, which I don't really believe in esoteric back in the day, but there is definitely a level to that. Okay, hopefully that helps. Just it's not about being la la land. It's just about understanding why people do things. I don't like the word trust. Not just in trust. I want to understand people. When you understand spiders, cobras, when you see me pick up a king cobra snake, I understand the limits there. It's not about trust. You trust a king cobra, you're gonna be in the emergency ward. Hopefully, get in time before you die from the strike. But that's the deal. Understand before you take things personally. Right? Really, really, probably one of the hardest lessons in life. It's a very, very tough one. I'm always daily practicing it. Is to avoid taking things personally. Right? But that is, if you can operate at that level, wow, life starts really there. Life really starts when you are aware of the benefits of not taking things personally. When your self-importance of ego, we can just be like, oh, you really pissed me off, you really frustrated me, but I understand why you're doing what you're doing. I don't accept it, I don't tolerate it, I don't think it's good, but I understand why you're doing it, right? And I'm just going to react, no, I'm not, fuck, or whatever, Breathe in, pause for 10 seconds before you react, and then you're like, 10 seconds, I'm still going. Breathe in for another 20 seconds, oh, I'm still going. 40 seconds, just leave the room. You just got to, otherwise you got prisons full of people who couldn't control their ego. How many people in prison right now, they did something they totally regret, or they're like, yeah, I'm glad I did it, but is it worth 20 years or 10 years or whatever? It's not, ever. In my opinion. It's crazy, man. That's a crazy world. Anyway, that's a whole other video. Stalkers exist. Rather than just say, that person's a stalker, I want you to study what they write about me, study what the videos are about me, study it, study the body language, study the text, study the style, study how they twist the words and they slander and they out of context and exaggerate and Photoshop. Study it, right? So you learn what some people who are offended or hurt will resort to or whatever. Now, I'm not saying people should go give them any hate. I don't want that. They don't need hate. They give it enough of people. Here's the truth, right? Hurt people don't need more hurt. They give enough of that to themselves. These people judge themselves harshly every day. They judge themselves. They unfairly, blah blah blah. These people need a hug. They need a hug. Right. But anyway, study it, and so you can learn, and so that makes you a better teacher, a better parent, a better lover, a better person, a better worker, a better boss, a better employee. When you understand things versus just react and get offended and take things personal and okay. Bingo. Avoid taking things personally. I think I've harped on so much about that. The universe has given me my 2 stalkers. And I'm grateful.